What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. And today we have a top 10 list. It's a little hard to word, but it's a great list. It's the top 10 songs that didn't reach the top 50 on the US Billboard Hot 100. There are some fantastic songs and artists on this one. This is brought to us from our patron and supporter, Joseph, one of my favorite people in the RTTC community, and comes up with some pretty clever stuff, as this list is evidence of. Before we get started, please give it the big thumbs up. Hit the big red subscribe button below. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below. You can be like Joseph and help us keep the lights on here at the channel. Also give our Twitch link a follow down there. We do live streams every Wednesday afternoon, Friday night, and check out our Facebook community. Great bunch of people just talking a whole lot about music basically every single day. So as we jump into this, Joseph had shared with me he's a little bit of a chart nerd. I don't know how he put it exactly. I used to be a total chart nerd back in my teen years in the 80s. I used to listen to the top 40 from Casey Kasem every single week and write down, old school writing in a 3-ring notebook on paper, all the top 40 songs, and used to chart that out like crazy, buy all the 45 singles. So that all sounds dinosaur and archaic at this point as I sit here at the end of 2020, but I totally get the chart stuff, love it. So this is right up my alley. There was one huge surprise for me on this, but that's all the way at number 1, so I'm just going to leave that there. So let's get started on this list. Number 10, the iconic band Kansas with Reason to Be off the Monolith album in 1979. This went to number 52 on the Billboard chart. So once again, thank you, Joseph, for this list. I'm going to have the lyrics pulled up. I'm not going to say anything until the song's over with. As always, the music is not going to be in the video. If you want to follow along with me, there's going to be a link below. You can check it out. If you just want to know what I think of the song, stay right here on YouTube because I'll be right back. Reason to Be by Kansas. Now, if you watch this channel a lot, you know I'm not a huge prog rock guy. I'm not a huge Kansas guy. Although I got to admit, I haven't listened to a lot of Kansas. I actually enjoyed this song. I can see why it wasn't a huge hit because it's 1979 and music was definitely different than what this song is kind of going towards. Maybe not in a better way. Disco, that kind of stuff, it had its place, but I can see why this didn't meet a ton of chart success. Not really sure on the lyrics exactly. It gets a little more into verse 3, but what they're about. But verse 1, so long, someone is waiting. I got places to go. I got things to see. No more procrastinating. For this is the moment that was meant for me, and I'm moving like a wave on the ocean, drifting to the opposite side, traveling with no destination, just riding the tide. So I guess the message is take some action in your life. People say he's foolish, he's living in a fantasy. I really like this little 2 lines. I say everything's easy. It's better than living in futility. So I think he's saying, you know what, man, I could sit here and do nothing. I'd rather go out and live and act and do things, even if it doesn't turn out so well for me. They have a nice instrumental little interlude, some harmonizing. That's where the prog rock instrumentation comes in a little more. And then I think the last verse lets you know there's going to be something out there that's going to be your reason to be. It might be a loved one, it might be a job, it might be your religion, your God, whatever it is. But he says someday something will find you, a magical feeling you could not foresee, a feeling so devastating from that moment on your life's a comedy. And suddenly you're light as a feather, you're falling like a leaf from a tree. The things you thought you needed are fading. You're a reason to be. And then it's repeated, and that last basically minute kind of fades out, a little harmonizing in there. So a really nice choice. I enjoyed this quite a bit. That's going to move us to the only artist I didn't know on this countdown. I don't know most of the songs, but the only artist I didn't know. And that is going to be LaRue, New Orleans Ladies. Don't know anything about LaRue. Did a little research on the band. Basically, they've been active since 1978, had their biggest success from 78 to 84, but apparently, not at the time of this because no one's touring or playing live gigs because of COVID, but we're still playing little small gigs in New Orleans. They're from Baton Rouge, so in the Louisiana area, they were playing little small stuff, so still around all these years later, so definitely admire that. The song, New Orleans Ladies, went to number 59 in 1978. I couldn't find anything else on the song, no matter how much research Sean tried to find it. So let's check it out. Leroy, it could go by Leroy. I don't know. It's a play on words. Whoever knows with the Cajun type of pronunciation. New Orleans Ladies, That was smooth. Sean is here spinning the hits of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We got some smooth 1978 with this song. Really enjoyed that one. Great harmonizing. The lyrics are real simple, right? I mean, this probably gained him a lot of goodwill with the ladies in New Orleans because it's just an ode to New Orleans ladies, that how much they enjoyed them, how much they liked them. All the way from Bourbon Street to Esplanade, they sashay by. Great instrumentation at the end. Just a smooth song. These guys sounded great, man. It's too bad they really look like they never broke out of a regional area, but I mean, it was so difficult, especially the decade of the 70s, to break through in the music industry. There were so many artists out there because there's so many labels still, so it was hard to get any inroads. Really enjoyed that one. That one may make a dark horse run at my top 3. I always pick the top 3 favorite songs as we get towards the end of this list. Now we're up to number 8, Journey, just the same way. This is from the Evolution album in 1979, went to number 58. First single from the second Steve Perry era album, with Perry only in a supporting role to Greg Rowley. The follow-up, Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', was the one that finally landed them in the top 20 for the first time of many. That was Joseph's words. I don't like the song Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', but I might like this one more. Know the Journey That I Know, right? So I know 2 albums from them very well. Got actually a review of 3 albums up on the channel. But don't know this at all. Used to love some Journey when I was in junior high and high school. Let's check this one out. Just the Same Way, Journey. The formula of Journey is alive and well in the song. You know, from the second it starts till the 30-second guitar outro at the end. Just classic Journey. I wonder on this song, Steve Perry is just in on backings, a little quietness at first, and then he pretty much handles verse 3 by himself. I wonder if it was at that time that Greg looked at him and went, oh man, I'm a pretty good vocalist, but this guy's an all-time great. I might be in a little bit of trouble here, but not a ton to it lyrically. It's a classic Journey song. Yesterday was a good day. It's after midnight, and I've got you on my mind. Come with me, never go away. Every day we will fly. Yeah, and in that chorus, that's the same way you love me. Oh, just the same way you do, just the same way you love me. Loves. It's that typical Journey anthemic chorus that sticks in your head. Take a chance now, the timing's right. You're free to leave, the key to my life. Stay with me, won't you stay tonight? In the morning, feeling fine. Yeah. You should be holding on to him, girl. Oh no, you should be holding on to him, girl. Oh yeah, just like you want to do. Oh no, just love and squeeze him, girl. Oh yeah, just love and squeeze him. Yeah. So I don't want to really read you the entire lyrics, but those are it. So Dylan, it's not, and Dylan, it's not supposed to be. I really love the vibe of it. Fantastic choice. Now we're going to move on to number 7. Going to have a little change up musically here. We're going to go to the great Boz Scaggs, which I don't know a lot of his stuff. I know who he is. He had a few minor hits back when I was starting to listen to music, but it is the song Hard Times from Down to Then Left from 1977. Went to number 58. And Joseph says it's with most Boz tunes from the 76 to 88 era. This has the incomparable Jeff Porcaro on drums. He'll be back for the number 1 a bit later. And in parentheses, he says, first, fairly unhelpful clue for anyone playing along at home. You got to play along at home, right? You got to guess these things. So let's jump into this Hard Times, Boz Scaggs. Hard Times by the great Boz Scaggs. Everything that you would expect out of Boz. It's 1977. We're going to have great production. We're going to have smooth vocals. We're going to have first-rate instrumentation. And poor Boz, he knows he's going down the wrong path. This is one of his hard times. I'm down in the sea of confusion, neath the waves of no recovery, swept away by a distant voice calling, this is where he should have ran. Ain't no use in trying to rescue me. He's already resolved to the fact this woman's no good for him. She's going to hurt him. He knows it, but he can't help it. The chorus, I am following back into your spell, back into your cell of no return. Great wordplay right there. No way to rescue me. And he just kind of keeps going on with that. I believed in you, but I know this time there ain't no use. And then they just finish out with that chorus 3 different times and a little sweet outro there, some backing vocals. Just a fantastic, smooth tune. You know, so many people go through this, right? There's someone that you have strong feelings about. You love them. You maybe love them. You know you got to get away from them. You get away from them for a while, but as soon as they you're right back there. So boys and girls, my advice to you, if you know they're bad for you, run the other direction. Don't come back. Don't make the same mistake that Boz made. Well, now we're up to number 6, and we're up to a mid-top 10 song battle. Joseph did this on his other top 10 I did for him, the top 10 of nothings, just the word nothing in the song title. Fantastic. Go watch it after you're done with this one. I am not going to tell you what the second song is, but the first song I'll pop up here on the little Spotify bar. We got Carrie Me from Crosby and Nash. It's from their second album that they put out. They had tried to go in and make another album with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young in 1973. It didn't work out. Neil Young did release Through the Sales on his Zuma album that came out of those, or Through My Sales on the Zuma album that came out of that recording session. We actually have that album up and several Neil Young on the channel. Stephen Stills decided to go back to his solo career with a new album in early 75. So these guys, Crosby and Nash, came out with this album. I don't know anything about this period of time for them. I do know this song references the death of Crosby's mother, so that tells me it's probably going to be pretty heavy. Let's check this out. It went to number 52 on the charts in 1975, and it's going up against, well, you'll find out after this one. Carrie Me from Crosby and Nash. Before I get into the song, I forgot to mention the little clue that Joseph gave us. He said, along with Mr. Pecoro, these two will also be back for our number 1. That's a slightly bigger clue, number 2, and the last one I'm giving. So if you know a lot about music, you might know what that number 1 is now as you add all those 3 people together. But this is so far is my favorite song, so this next song is really going to have to bring it. Great harmonies, great instrumentation. When I was a young man, I found an old dream. What a fantastic wordplay. Was as battered and worn a one as you've ever seen, but I made it some new wings. It kind of goes on there, carry me above the world. And I once loved a girl, she was younger than me. Her parents kept her locked up. She was crying at night. She was wishing she could be free. So the motif of being free. And then there it comes in that verse, and it's about David's dying mother. It takes on more gravity as you read it. And then there was my mother. She was lying in white sheets there, and she was waiting to die. She said, if you just reach underneath this bed and untie these weights, I could surely fly. She's still smiling, but she's tired. She'd like to hear that last bell ring. If she could, she would stand up. She could sing. Oh, wow. And then sing, carry me above the world. Just a fantastic track. That's going to take us to the battle. What's the second part of the battle? Well, it kind of makes a little bit of sense here what it's going to be. It's actually Stephen Stills. And really, it's technically the band Manassas, but Spotify credits Stephen Stills, and it's a song, Isn't It About Time? And this is from the Down the Road album in 1973. Went to number 56 on the charts. Interesting story with them. It's the second album they released, the last album they were going to release. I'm not going to go into the whole specifics of everything because there's a lot to this, but the album was totally panned. Rolling Stone magazine said this: it would be sad to think the people involved put this record out not because of business pressures, but because they were proud of it. Oh my goodness, that's a blast. But this is the first song off the album, so that probably tells you at least they thought highly of this one. Let's check it out. It's a battle. Isn't It About Time? Manassas, led by Stephen Stills. Chris Hillman's also in this, an original member of the Byrds, Desert Rose Band, did a lot of different things, Flying Burrito Brothers. So he's involved in this too. I'm going to guess by reading these lyrics that it's all about the Vietnam War. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know below. But don't look now. Don't heed the warning. It's really of no concern. Don't care the sound. They're only just bombing. Anything left to burn. Isn't about time. Isn't about time we learned. Fire flood. Familiar famine. The jungle so far away. Blood baked into blackened soil. How many tons a day? So he just keeps going on about that living in the nightmare. Seems to me that enemies are fantasies because you're fighting somebody, they're not your enemy, you've never even met them. But so I like that part of it. I like the songwriting that way. I think the instrumentation obviously is more rich than the Crosby and Nash song Carry Me, but for me, and Joseph had said he thought this was going to be a close battle. For me, it's actually not a close battle, even though I would probably jam out to this song, to the Stills song, Manassas song, Isn't It About Time, more casually than I would Crosby and Nash. Carrie Me is the winner for me. Pretty clearly, but Carrie Me is also my favorite song so far on this list. But Stephen Stills brought it quite nicely. It's a good battle, and obviously a logical battle. Not that I would expect anything less from you, Joseph, but that's going to take us up to number 4 already, Broken by the Guess Who. It's a non-album single. Always love those. Those were very popular in the 60s and 70s. From 1971, went to 55. This one was stymied, this is Joseph, this one was stymied by being flipped at radio early on in its chart rise, with the B-side, Albert Flasher, coming into favor and making the top 30 in the U.S. In Canada, Broken went to 15 and Albert Flasher went to 13. And he said it could have been a top 10 if they just called it a double A side. You're 100% right, Joseph. And I could find a bunch of stuff on Albert Flasher, but I couldn't find anything on this track. So looking forward to the Guess Who, Broken, all the way up here at number 4. Broken by the Guess Who. What a fantastic sound. Just so smooth. Loved it. Loved when the chorus came on. It's about, I think, he's found a girl. He's been broken. He's telling her to come to him, take the spell away and turn me back into a man and give me credit. You know I'm doing all I can. This guy's doing the best he can. Grab onto something that you think you can hold. Grab onto something because you're growing old. Boy, aren't we all growing old? And then that chorus, yes, I've been broken too, just like you. So bring your soul to me and leave it here for just a while. Show the end to me and see if I can fake a smile. Grab onto something you think you can hold. I don't have to fear. Nobody else is here. Don't have to see. I know what I want to be. Don't have to make an explanation to you. I think it's just one of those songs that sticks in your head because the instrumentation on it and the harmonies are so fantastic. They could be singing the phone book. It really wouldn't make any difference. This is going to be one of my favorites probably at the end. I see that Burton Cummings and Kurt Winter wrote it. Now, my little research on the Guess Who told me that Kurt Winter came in when Randy Bachman left in 1971. So I'm not sure who's singing lead on this. I couldn't find it because there's no info on this song. But I'm guessing it's not Bachman, even though it kind of sounds like him. But I'm sure somebody's going to know below. Joseph, I'm sure you'll know, but you're not sitting here beside me, so I can't ask you. But a fantastic offering there. And now we're already up to number 3. Who is it? From the great Paul Simon, the song Duncan. Now, I got to tell you, I've run the whole Simon and Garfunkel discography. I've never listened. Well, I have. I guess that's a lie. I've listened to Graceland, but that was all the way up in, I think, 86. We'll have a review up of that at some point, but I've never listened to Simon coming out of Simon and Garfunkel. I don't know why. I'm sure it's great. So thank you for bringing this one to me, Joseph. But there's a lot of research on this song. It went to number 52 in 1972 off the self-titled album. It's the third and final single. Tells the story of Lincoln Duncan, a fisherman's son, an inability to fall asleep in a cheap hotel due to the loud sex that a couple is having next door sends Duncan away. He recalls his decision to, quote, leave the boredom and the chowder of his hometown in the Canadian Maritime provinces and head towards New England. He recalls running out of money, losing his confidence and faith in himself, and gaining them back after losing his virginity to a young female street preacher. Quote, just like a dog, I was befriended. In the last stanza, he is lying on the ground at night, playing his guitar and thanking God for his fingers. Between the stanzas, the song features instrumental interludes played on 2 flutes by Los Incas, an Andean group, which had previously collaborated with Simon and Garfunkel on El Condor Pasa, If I Could, in 1970 off their last album, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Never heard this, like I said. Really looking forward to it. Number 3, Paul Simon, Duncan. Duncan by the great Paul Simon. That is, I haven't used this term in a long time. That was a journey. I mean, as you would expect with Paul, one of the best lyricists of all time. Definitely a different delivery to his vocal than what I'm used to, than on the Simon and Garfunkel stuff. I like the instrumentation, put you in a different time and place. Almost a sneak preview of 14 years later when you do Graceland, obviously the world music influence. And just what I talked about at the start, Lincoln Duncan and his life story, leaving. His mother was a fisherman. His mama was the fisherman's friend. He's leaving home. I thought verse 3 was great. Just a great play on word. Holes in my confidence, holes in the knees of my jeans. I was left without a penny in my pocket. I was about destituted as a kid could be, and I wished I wore a ring so I could hawk it. I'd like to hawk it. He had nothing, man. He didn't even have anything to sell. Then he meets the young girl. She's preaching about the Bible. She tells him about the Pentecost, and then they go out and have a good time in the woods. And he's reflecting on it in verse 6, talking about thanking God for his fingers. That's how he finishes off this song. Just a wonderful, wonderful song. I really do need to dive into this album and really all of Paul's solo work. So thank you for bringing that one to us, Joseph. Now we're to number 2, a guy who I didn't really know anything about when this channel started. Now becomes such a huge fan. Yes, Mr. Gordon Lightfoot. Beautiful. Now, I have to know this song because it appears originally in the 1972 album Don Quixote, but it also appears on Gord's Gold from 1975, and we do have a review of that up on the channel. So I've heard this song. It comes right after Sundown on the track listing of Gord's Gold. I don't remember it. Maybe I'll remember it when I come across it and we listen to it here. It went to number 58 on the U.S. charts. Joseph says another Canadian tune that did much better at home, peaking at 13 and helping propel the album to number 1 spot there. His first of 4 to do so. I did see in the U.S. it did want to go to number 30 on the U.S. Easy Listening chart. So, number 2, Gordon Lightfoot, Beautiful. Let's get after it. And there you have it, the great Gordon Lightfoot, beautiful, the wonderful voice. He's like an old friend. You hear it, the acoustic, the voice, beautiful songwriting. Telling her they've been friends forever. They've been together for a long, long time. It looks like I know that you will never stray because you've been that way from day to day for such a long, long time. And when you hold me tight, how could life be anything but beautiful? So he's telling her she's beautiful. When he's with her, life is beautiful. Just that soothing voice. Love it. Don't remember it from the album, but all Gord stuff sounds so familiar because in such a good way that I'm 10 seconds into it, I just resonated with it. So always a fantastic choice. And now we're to number 1. We had some teasers earlier on, 2 different ones from Joseph. Did you get this right? Do you know your stuff from the 70s? We're about to find out. Number 1, a song I actually do know from the great Jackson Browne, who I'm in the process of running his discography, really enjoying. The Pretender coming in at number 1. When I first saw this list, this was a big surprise for me. I'm like, that song wasn't even in the top 50, but no, it wasn't. It's from the titled album, The Pretender in 1976, went to number 58. It says Jeff Porcaro on drums, Crosby and Nash with some signature harmonies. In answering the question of who the Pretender is, this is what Jackson said, because when you research this, that's what a lot of people wondered back then. It's not me exactly, although sometimes people applaud for me at that moment in the song as if I am, but in truth, there's a bit of the Pretender in me. But it's anybody that's sort of lost sight of some of their dreams and is going through the motions and trying to make a stab at a certain way of life that he sees other people succeeding at. So maybe it's a lot of people of a certain generation who sort of embraced a very material lifestyle in place of dreams that they had that sort of disintegrated at some point. So he's talking about this in 1976. You could take that quote, poured it into 2020 when I'm filming this, and it would fit 100% exact. So Jackson Browne, great singer-songwriter. Let's check it out. The Pretender, numero uno. There you have it, coming in at number 1, a fitting number 1. I wouldn't expect any less from you, Joseph. It would be my number 1 song, too. The great Jackson Browne, almost a 6-minute epic, The Pretender. Just plays out everything I talked about at the beginning. It's 7 verses long. Great harmonies, instrumentation, all of it. He's talking about he's going to have to go in and put in the work, right? He's going to have to be the Pretender. He knows there's other, in his heart of hearts, he knows there's other stuff that's more important in life than money. But, you're told all your life, especially as a man in America at least, that's all about the American dream, money, house, all that stuff, power. None of that stuff matters at the end of the day. The older you get, hopefully you figure that out. Hopefully you figure it out before you get to be a man of my age. But the chorus, and when the first chorus at least, and when the morning light comes streaming in, I'll get up and do it again. Amen. Say it again. Amen. Just this hamster wheel that has no fulfillment in it. And then he just starts to playing that out, caught between the longing for love and the struggle for the legal tender. What a great line. I would like to go chase love and the other things in life, but man, I got to go to work. Where the sirens sing and the church bells ring and the junk man pounds his fender, where the veterans dream of the fight, fast asleep at the traffic light, and the children solemnly wait for the ice cream vendor. Just another one of those fantastic verses. I like verse 5 too, at the very end of it. While the ships bearing their dreams sail out of sight, right? Because he's starting to figure out none of this matters. Verse 6, he finally is going to do it. I'm going to find myself a girl who can show me what laughter means, and we'll fill in the missing colors in each other's paint by number dreams. And then we'll put our dark glasses on and we'll make love until our strength is gone. And then the very last verse, I'm going to be a happy idiot and struggle for the legal tender. So even at the end, he knows this is stupid, but he's still going to go after it. Where the ads take aim and lay their claim to the heart and the soul of the spender. 1976, I guess this was true. I was 5, who knows? I know it's true in 2020. And believe in whatever may lie in those things that money can buy, though true love could have been a contender. He thinks it's already too late. He's wasted his life. It's not true. It's never too late. Please don't chase all that monetary stuff. It will just leave you empty at the end. So, that's going to sum up this list. What a fantastic list. It's time for my favorites. My 2 honorable mentions, Leroy, New Orleans Ladies, came in at number 9. One of my honorable mentions, the only group I didn't know on here. And this one was a tough one, but it's going to come in an honorable mention for me. Beautiful Gordon Lightfoot at number 2. My 3 faves, Crosby and Nash, Carrie Me. The Guess Who, Broken. Kind of an upset there that I would pick that, right? And number 1, of course, I just said it, is the number 1 for me. It was number 1 for Joseph. The Pretender by Jackson Browne. So once again, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Joseph, for bringing us this very clever list, guys. And until next time, I will see you.